Yo, welcome back. Episode 6, WandaVision.
Heart of the cards, my dick, my nigga. Like, we don't all do this, bro. Like, we don't spend money on your fucking game.
Wow, deputy.
I try not to think on it, still about a trip. I must still cry over baby she miss. I got some issues that got me a list. King of the sunken place, what is this? She get a smile, I swear I don't miss. I wipe my face when we getting these clips. I do my dance, be shaking my hips, no need better.
Yo, so I just finished watching it. Oh my god. Okay, I have a lot that to talk about, but we'll get to more of that, later. Okay, because I gotta do stuff first. So, number one, this episode is my favorite. My favorite episode so far. This is actually by far my favorite episode, just because in the beginning they gave off that early 2000s, late 90s vibe of the Disney shows, Disney TV shows. The way the main character looking at the camera and shit, like, sometimes we do these, sometimes, like, this shit was so cool. I love that. Also, that brings up the question, does that mean that Tommy and Billy are aware that Sword was watching them, or does that mean that, or is that just like a one-off thing, right? Because because they're doing it, they're looking at the camera, and we all know that the way we're watching the show, we're watching WandaVision, is also the way that Sword is watching WandaVision, right? The Sword is also watching WandaVision, so that means that the kids were looking at Sword looking at them, you know what I mean? So I don't know if the kids know, right? Or I don't even know if Petro knows, right? Speaking of Petro, I love how they, for the Halloween episode, they used the throwback suits that they used to have back like long time ago, right? So I thought that was pretty cool how they had throwback outfits to Scarlet Witch and the Vision and Quicksilver. I forgot his name for 2 seconds. Also, the kids got their powers, right? So my boy Tommy has his speed. Billy has Billy's powers are probably gonna be more. It's more, I guess, subtle, because he has more like witchy. He has more powers that are more like Wanda, right? So his is gonna come in probably a little different than, obviously, my boy Tommy, right? My favorite obviously is Tommy. Come on, bro. Come on. Look, I love Billy, but Tommy's my boy, okay? This dude is Quicksilver, fucking amazing, okay? So I think it's interesting that, so Monica is getting her powers. They've said it like 3 times already. Monica, your cells are changing. You're like, what the fuck? Well, something's wrong, you know what I mean? Yeah, she wants to still go back in there. She like, I gotta help Wanda and all this shit. It's cool. What else? Vision trying to leave. Interesting. Definitely interesting. He can't leave, because if he left, he would just be sucked right back into the thing, apparently. So, or at least bits and pieces start to get sucked back into the hex. So it's like, So does that mean that he doesn't exist outside there? Because it's like, I don't know how that works, you know what I mean? And then Wanda also gave us a lot about how she's doing this and stuff, this episode, about like, she doesn't even know how she's doing it fully. She just knows that she's doing it, and she wants to keep it that way, right? And I think that's interesting. And obviously it looks like Pietro isn't under her mental jurisdiction, right? So it doesn't look like that she's controlling Pietro. She just brought him in to be her brother. He said that, and when I was leaving the movie theater, he was like, bro, I'm literally here to be that cliche brother that comes in every show to annoy the brother-in-law, to annoy the husband, to have fun with the kids and make the kids rebels and shit, or like, and to bring Wanda grief. And it's like, he wouldn't say that if he was being controlled by Wanda. You know what I mean? Like, so it's interesting. It's interesting how she's doing this, and I also feel like she's not fully doing it. I feel like somebody else is pulling some strings. Not all the strings, but some strings. I do think that since at the end, Wanda stopped everybody. I do think she's controlling the people. I don't think that Wanda is bringing all the kids that came in. I don't think that that's Wanda's doing. I don't think Wanda brought these kids in. I do think that the kids just showed up and now she's in control of the kids too. You know what I mean? Or just for this time, for Halloween time. You know what I mean? I don't know. We don't know what's going on. I just know that this is crazy. Also, Darcy got sucked in there, so I wonder who she's going to be, or like how she's going to play into this. You know, a lot of people got sucked into the thing because Wanda made it bigger to find Vision after he left, and he was sitting there on the ground and shit. You know, it was crazy. I thought he was going to die again. And then it was funny because Pietro said like, well, he can't die twice, can he? Then she got upset and blasted him away. And like, so that obviously was not planned. She didn't want him to say that. He said it. That reinforces the fact that he's not under her control. He's not under her mental jurisdiction. Curious. Also, he's playing that role. Evan Peters is probably so happy to be in the MCU. He's like, oh my god, this is I'm so ready for this. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. This is an interesting show, you know, and I'm curious to see what's going to happen to the kids if they want to leave the Hex, right? Because I don't know, the kids are totally new. Are they going? They don't have a physical body outside of the Hex that they can turn into, unless something happens and that gives them the ability, or like somebody they try to leave and they just have a body anyway. I don't know how that's going to work, right? Because those kids were born in the Hex. So that means if the Hex is gone, does that mean that they leave too? I don't know. But they're getting their powers. What's the point of the kids getting their powers if they're just going to be destroyed later on? You know what I mean? So I think what's going to happen, something's going to happen to the point where kids actually have bodies, and when they leave the Hex, they actually are still themselves. You know what I mean? It's also like, I'm curious what happens to Pietro when he leaves, because I personally think what could happen, my theory is that when Pietro leaves the Hex, he is going to, what is he called? He's going to revert back to his Fox self, right? Instead of the MCU Pietro, because she's using the MCU Pietro as a guise, right? Like, so he's not. It's not MCU Pietro. I mean, it is personality-wise and stuff like that, but it's not his body. You know what I mean? And it's not his mind or anything like that. It's his personality. That's about it, right? His soul, per se, right? So I feel like I see Jesse the Sun for the first time. Me, my last shot, because he's my... Oh, wait, wrong song. I do feel like it'll be interesting if he left and he started to remember all his Fox adventures. And he's like, wait a minute, where am I? You know what I mean? That would be funny to be like, wait a minute, this is not where I live. It's not my home. Tries to find Charles Xavier, nowhere to be found, right? Tries to find anybody from the X-Men, nowhere to be found. Not even Wolverine, you know what I mean? That'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see. So yeah, that's pretty much it right now. I gotta go stream. Follow me on Twitch. Okay, I stream at 10:30 a.m. and p.m. on some days. Okay, so every day. I'll see you guys in the next video. I got some good stuff coming up. I'll see you then. Peace. SENku gang. SENku town. Welcome and goodbye. Peace.